Hollywood has long been a symbol of glamour, triumph, and dazzling stars gracing the big screen. But behind the glitz and fame, many actors have struggled to conceal their true selves. In an industry where public perception and career prospects are often shaped by personal choices, coming out has been a difficult and daunting decision. Before the world became more inclusive of the LGBTQ+ community, countless gay actors lived in secrecy, hiding their relationships and grappling with the constant fear of losing their careers. Despite the immense personal cost, many of these actors made the courageous choice to break their silence and openly embrace their true selves. Here are the stories of 15 gay actors who chose authenticity over hiding their identity, despite the struggles that came with it. If these inspiring stories resonate with you, leave a comment with 1 if you relate to any of these brave individuals, or 0 if your perspective differs. Don't forget to like and share so your friends can join in and follow this powerful journey. Let's begin with Jonathan Bailey, the British actor shattering stereotypes with his grace and bravery. Jonathan Bailey stands as a testament to the changing times, even if progress is gradual. A gifted actor with a classical Shakespearean training, he has captured the world's attention with his remarkable talent. He gained global recognition for his portrayal of Anthony Bridgerton in Netflix's smash hit series Bridgerton. As the powerful, charismatic, and highly sought-after nobleman, he brought intense romantic scenes to life, sparking widespread conversation and admiration. Jonathan Bailey has become a new symbol of romantic masculinity for many. Yet, what many didn't know at the time was that Jonathan is openly gay. Unlike the struggles of actors from decades past, Jonathan didn't have to hide his truth. However, that doesn't mean his journey was without its challenges. In various interviews, Jonathan has shared that early in his career, he was advised to stay silent about his sexuality and keep his true identity under wraps. Despite the pressure, he chose to live authentically. The reason for the pressure? Many in the industry believed that audiences wouldn't accept a gay actor playing the lead in a heterosexual love story. Once again, Hollywood's outdated formulas and hypocrisy reared their heads. But Jonathan refused to accept that. With immense courage, he chose not to conceal his identity to fit old stereotypes. When Bridgerton premiered, Jonathan came out, and the reaction was nothing short of surprising. Instead of facing rejection, he was warmly embraced by audiences around the world, proving that authenticity resonates far more than conformity. Millions of fans, both men and women, admire his acting, charisma, and profound emotional depth. His presence in films celebrating love, desire, and diversity has played a key role in breaking down stereotypes. Jonathan has shown that a gay man can undeniably be the leading character in a heterosexual love story, and do it with brilliance. Talent transcends orientation, and Jonathan uses his platform to ignite conversations about the pressures of staying in the closet, the construction of masculinity, and the importance of embracing love in all its forms. Elliot Page, the transgender actor, has defied Hollywood's expectations by embracing his true self. Formerly known as Ellen Page, Elliot earned global recognition through iconic roles in films like Juno, Inception, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. For years, he was celebrated for his intelligent, nuanced, and emotionally powerful performances, all while grappling with one of the greatest internal struggles of his life: the disconnect between his public identity and his true gender identity. In 2014, Elliot came out as gay, still identifying as female at the time. His heartfelt speech at a human rights conference became one of the most unforgettable moments of the decade, marking the beginning of his journey toward living authentically. However, the truth ran even deeper. In December 2020, Elliot made a revelation that would not only transform his own life but also shift the way Hollywood views transgender individuals. He came out as transgender, a bold and courageous act in an industry still weighed down by gender stereotypes. The public response was overwhelmingly positive and supportive, but his bravery was undeniable. Elliot began to speak candidly about the pressure he felt when playing female roles in the past, roles that didn't align with his true identity. He shared the silent pain, the anxiety, and the desire to escape every time he looked in the mirror. After transitioning, Elliot not only continued his career, but also expanded it, proving that authenticity can propel success even further. Elliot continues to shine in the Umbrella Academy, where his character is now portrayed as transgender, reflecting his own journey. He has become one of the most influential voices advocating for transgender and non-binary individuals, and his activism goes far beyond just statements or social media posts. Elliot lives authentically, serving as a symbol of courage, an inspiration, and an educator for the community. He actively participates in awareness campaigns and supports the LGBTQ+ community, using his platform to uplift others. His brave transition has paved the way for countless individuals to embrace their own truths. Now, Elliot no longer shies away from the spotlight. He's leading a powerful wave of change. Ricky Martin, the Latin astro, shattered the silence before the eyes of the world. He's not just a successful singer, he's a global icon of Latin pop culture. From the US to Europe and Latin America, Ricky ignited stages with his explosive energy, captivating voice, and magnetic presence. With chart-topping hits like Livin' La Vida Loca, She Bangs, and La Copa de la Vida, Ricky became a sensation in the late 1990s. He ascended to global fame, becoming one of the most famous artists on the planet and a sex symbol for millions. Behind his success, however, was a heavy silence and immense pressure. Hollywood had molded him into the perfect image of Latin masculinity, a man of irresistible charm. For years, any rumors about his sexuality were swiftly shut down by his team. Ricky skillfully dodged questions in interviews, deflecting whenever asked directly. The world continued to view him as a heterosexual sex symbol, while internally, he was grappling with deep inner conflict. The turning point came in 2010, when Ricky Martin made the courageous decision to come out as gay, breaking free from the confines of secrecy. In a heartfelt open letter published on his official website, Ricky spoke with sincere emotion. He admitted that after years of self-questioning and fear, he finally felt ready to live his truth. He shared that concealing his identity had caused him deep personal pain and had also impacted his children's right to grow up in an environment of honesty and authenticity. Ricky's revelation sent shockwaves through global pop culture. Some were surprised, while others simply said, "We already knew." But what mattered most was the overwhelming respect and support he received from fans across the globe, reaffirming the power of living openly and truthfully. Ricky didn't just come out, he became a passionate LGBTQ+ activist. He stood up for human rights, fought against discrimination, and played a significant role in shifting public perception of the gay community. Ricky Martin proved that being true to yourself doesn't diminish your value. In fact, it fosters love and respect. His journey has become a beacon of hope and inspiration for millions worldwide. He has used his visibility to speak out against homophobia, prejudice, and the violence that has caused so many to feel trapped by society's expectations, empowering others to live freely and authentically. Wentworth Miller, the action hero who broke free from the prison of silence. Wentworth Miller skyrocketed to global fame as Michael Scofield, the brilliant main character of the hit series Prison Break. The role not only catapulted him to stardom but also transformed him into a male sex symbol in the early 2000s. With his piercing gaze, strong physique, and understated acting style, Miller embodied the ideal image of masculinity, captivating millions with every scene. But behind the glamour was a life filled with pain, fear, and loneliness, the result of years spent hiding his true self. Miller had previously denied being gay and carefully avoided any questions about his personal life during interviews. His romantic life became a forbidden topic, and his responses were always neutral to protect the image the industry imposed on him. Surrounded by rumors, the pressure to maintain a masculine facade became overwhelming. He felt compelled to accept this, not from weakness, but from the fear of the consequences of living his truth in such a judgmental environment. Everything changed in 2013 when Miller received an invitation to attend a film festival in Russia, a country that had just passed harsh anti-gay laws. In that moment, he chose to break his silence. He publicly declined the invitation and, in a heartfelt letter that quickly gained widespread attention, Miller officially came out as gay. He explained that he could not accept an invitation to a country where people like him were treated cruelly, attacked, or even killed simply for loving someone of the same sex. The letter went viral, and his decision was widely praised as a courageous and humane stand. In 2020, Miller made headlines once again when he announced that he would no longer play heterosexual characters in films. He explained that he no longer wanted to pretend or contribute to reinforcing stereotypes that didn't reflect his true self. This decision wasn't just personal. It was a powerful message to the entire industry. It was time to embrace and respect gender and identity diversity. His declaration sparked widespread debate and garnered deep admiration. Wentworth Miller, someone who fully understands the cost of living a lie, chose truth and courageously stepped into the light. Jim Parsons, the comedic genius who proved that living your truth is also a beautiful thing. Jim became a global sensation thanks to his role as Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory. With his distinct acting style, blending humor and depth, he won 4 Emmy Awards and became one of the highest-paid television actors in the world. However, for many years, Jim lived with caution and reserve, keeping his personal life private. Despite being in a relationship with a partner for over a decade, Jim did not publicly disclose his sexual orientation until 2012. The reason, as Jim shared, was the fear of jeopardizing his career, one he had worked tirelessly to build in an industry still rife with prejudice. When Jim finally made the decision to come out as gay, he didn't do so with fanfare. He did it quietly but with confidence. He began appearing publicly with his partner at events, gradually becoming an icon for successful LGBTQ+ individuals in the entertainment industry. Without the need for grand declarations, Jim's simplicity and sincerity became a powerful voice for authenticity and acceptance. In The Big Bang Theory, he played Sheldon Cooper, a quirky, methodical, and humorous theoretical physicist who captivated audiences with his remarkable talent, defying societal expectations. This character became a pop culture icon, earning Parsons 4 Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe, and cementing his place as one of the highest-paid actors on television. But behind that immense success is a life story shaped by introspection, resistance, and a deliberate choice to live his truth with dignity. For much of the show's run, Jim Parsons chose not to publicly discuss his sexual orientation. While he never hid his identity, he also never made any formal declarations until 2012. In an interview with the New York Times, he simply and directly mentioned that he was gay and had been in a relationship with his partner, graphic designer Todd Spiewak, for over a decade. The way he revealed his truth was as powerful as any activist's speech. He didn't make a spectacle of it, but seamlessly incorporated it into his life story. This choice marked a pivotal moment, demonstrating that Parsons could live a life of balance, both public and private, without resorting to a false persona to appease Hollywood. Jim Parsons was never afraid of losing roles by publicly coming out. In fact, he became more involved in projects that aligned with his personal worldview. A prime example is his role in The Normal Heart, where he portrayed an activist fighting for gay rights during the early years of the AIDS epidemic. The film was emotional, raw, and powerful, showcasing a dramatic and intense side of Parsons' acting that had previously been known mostly for his humor. This role not only highlighted his artistic depth but also reinforced his strong social commitment, demonstrating his willingness to use his platform for meaningful causes. Zachary Quinto is a standout figure of the new generation who boldly lives his truth. He exemplifies how talent, courage, and social commitment can harmoniously thrive in the entertainment industry. Known for his deep performances and mysterious presence, Quinto has a remarkable ability to bring complex, introspective roles to life. In 2011, he came out as gay, a decision that was both personal and emotional, following the tragic death of Jamie Rodemayer, a teenager who took his own life after enduring bullying for being gay. This moment marked a pivotal turning point, as Quinto's courage became a powerful symbol of advocacy and acceptance. Shocked and deeply moved by the tragedy, Quinto realized that he could no longer remain silent while young people like Jamie were losing their lives because of their identity. In an open letter, he boldly declared that being gay was an essential and sacred part of who he was. He could no longer stay silent or pretend to be neutral. His decision ignited a powerful wave in the media and on social platforms, with Quinto quickly receiving praise from both the public and the arts community for his immense courage. Zachary Quinto is not only a role model for LGBTQ+ youth, but also a figure respected for his integrity and compassion. Unlike many actors who fear their careers might suffer, Quinto proved the opposite. His career didn't just survive, it flourished. He continued to land leading roles in major films, portraying deep and complex characters across cinema, television, and theater. Simultaneously, he became one of the most prominent and influential LGBTQ+ activists, using his platform to advocate for change and acceptance while remaining a powerful voice for the community. Neil Patrick Harris, a master of humor and a symbol of authenticity in Hollywood, rose to global fame for his role as Barney Stinson, a charming, promiscuous, yet incredibly smart and funny character in How I Met Your Mother. This character was a stark contrast to Neil's true self, yet he portrayed it so convincingly that the public was shocked when they learned he was gay. In 2006, Neil Patrick Harris came out with a brief but bold statement, proudly declaring that he was a gay man living happily, marking a pivotal moment in his life and career. Neil Patrick Harris is one of the most versatile and captivating figures in modern entertainment, with many surprising facets that set him apart. A multi-talented individual, he has excelled in everything from acting to hosting major award shows. He is globally recognized for iconic roles like the womanizing Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, the prematurely brilliant yet tragic Doogie Howser, MD, and his humorous portrayals of himself in films like Harold and Kumar. What makes his story even more remarkable is the way he has faced and overcome stigma, using his platform to inspire and advocate for authenticity in the industry. As a gay actor portraying a womanizing role for an extended period, Neil faced challenges that many didn't see. He kept his personal life private, neither confirming nor denying his sexual orientation in the early stages of his career. Everything shifted in 2006 when, after the press began speculating about his love life, Neil decided to come out publicly with a direct and straightforward statement. In his declaration, he casually mentioned that he was happy, loved, and at peace, expressing confidence and self-acceptance without drama. This courageous and unexpected move was particularly significant as he was at the peak of his success, playing a character that was the complete opposite of his true self. What followed was revolutionary and defied the usual fears in the entertainment industry. Neil didn't lose fans, contracts, or fame. On the contrary, his popularity skyrocketed due to his authenticity. The public recognized his courage and transparency, which not only strengthened his personal image but also secured his place in Hollywood. He continued starring in How I Met Your Mother for many more seasons, earning numerous prestigious awards. Additionally, Neil became the host of major award shows like the Tonys, Emmys, and even the Oscars, further solidifying his talent and versatility in the industry. Neil Patrick Harris is not just an actor. He is a well-rounded performer and a modern icon. He broke the stereotype that gay actors cannot successfully portray heterosexual roles, and with his portrayal of Barney Stinson, he left a lasting cultural legacy in modern television. Off-screen, Neil has a stable and admired relationship with his partner, David Burtka. Together, they raised twin sons and have become one of the most famous, enduring, and respected couples in the entertainment industry, embodying both love and authenticity. Their family often shares loving and authentic everyday moments, helping to challenge the stereotype that same-sex couples are incompatible with the traditional idea of family. Their presence in popular culture serves as a powerful statement about the normalcy and beauty of same-sex love. With intelligence, humor, and honesty, Neil has played a significant role in changing the way millions of people view the LGBTQ+ community, fostering greater understanding and acceptance. Ian McKellen, the acting wizard, has become a true warrior for equality. Sir Ian McKellen is not only a legendary actor, but also a cornerstone of British theatre, a giant in global cinema, and one of the most powerful and respected voices in the fight for LGBTQ+ rights. Born in conservative England, McKellen forged a distinguished career in classical theatre, particularly through Shakespeare's works. He is celebrated for his intense, erudite acting, earning him recognition as one of the greatest names in performing arts. Beyond his acting, McKellen has used his platform to advocate for equality and acceptance, becoming a trailblazer in both the entertainment industry and LGBTQ+ activism. It wasn't until Ian McKellen stepped into the world of cinema that his global fame truly exploded. With iconic roles like Magneto in the X-Men series and Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings, McKellen reached audiences across all demographics worldwide. For decades, he kept his sexuality hidden from the media, not out of fear, but as a survival strategy in a still prejudiced society. McKellen came out as gay in 1988 while protesting the anti-gay propaganda laws in the UK, a pivotal moment for both him personally and for the LGBTQ+ community. Since then, he has become an unwavering activist, tirelessly advocating for equal rights and fighting against discrimination wherever he goes. The British stage and international cinema had long been hostile environments for actors who deviated from the heterosexual norm, largely due to the prevailing power structures. However, in 1988, everything changed. The UK government was on the verge of passing the infamous Section 28, a law that prohibited the promotion of homosexuality in schools and public institutions. Faced with this, Ian McKellen decided it was time to stop hiding. In a live radio interview, he publicly declared that he was gay and never looked back. From that moment, McKellen became one of the world's most prominent LGBTQ+ activists, using his platform to fight for equality and acceptance. Sir Ian has founded organizations, confronted politicians, challenged prejudices, and used his fame to open doors that had been closed for centuries. For many years, he has been a positive force in campaigns against discrimination, visiting schools, speaking at universities, and participating in public events to combat homophobia in various institutions. All of this has occurred alongside his brilliant artistic career. McKellen has shown that authenticity and talent are not opposing forces. On the contrary, his honesty has inspired others and created a vibrant legacy that continues to impact both the arts and the fight for equality. Matt Bomer, the epitome of perfect handsomeness, chose to live authentically at the height of his fame. For many, Matt represents the definition of modern beauty. His deep-set eyes, symmetrical features, and natural charm. He rose to prominence in Hollywood with his alluring, intelligent, and complex roles. He's widely known for portraying Neil Caffrey in the TV series White Collar, as well as for his roles in Magic Mike, The Normal Heart, and The Sinner. What makes his story even more remarkable is the way he came out when his career was at its peak. For many years, Matt kept his personal life private, partly to protect himself and partly as a career strategy. The industry was still cautious about openly gay actors taking on romantic or sexy roles. However, within the industry, Matt's relationship with public relations expert Simon Halls had been known since the early 2000s. The couple maintained a private, strong relationship and together raised 3 children through surrogacy. It was a stable and beautiful family that the public only learned about years later. In 2012, during an emotional speech while accepting an award for his support in the fight against HIV, Matt Bomer decided to open up to the world. He thanked his husband and children with simple yet heartfelt words, marking a moment of authenticity and bravery in both his personal life and his career. Without embellishment or drama, his thank you was a quiet yet powerful affirmation of his truth. At the time, Matt was one of the most sought-after men on American television, and he calmly revealed that he was living true love with another man. The initial response was one of surprise, admiration, and, in some corners of the industry, concern. But the ultimate result was the complete opposite. Matt didn't lose any roles, nor did his career decline. On the contrary, he was further celebrated as a symbol of authenticity, with his openness only enhancing his reputation and inspiring others. Shortly after, his role in The Normal Heart, a drama depicting the early days of the AIDS epidemic in the United States, touched the hearts of millions. In the film, Matt portrayed a fragile, vulnerable gay man, delivering a heartfelt and deeply emotional performance. This role earned him a Golden Globe and garnered critical acclaim. It wasn't just a performance. It was a fusion of his acting talent and his true self. Matt Bomer used his own truth to create art that resonated deeply with audiences, further solidifying his place as a powerful, authentic figure in Hollywood. Luke Evans, the handsome actor, has confronted prejudice with both elegance and boldness. He is one of the few whose public image and private life coexist so naturally. With his strong, rugged appearance and powerful singing voice, Luke has made his mark in films like The Hobbit, Beauty and the Beast, and Dracula Untold. From the beginning of his career, Luke neither denied nor hid who he was. He chose to live authentically, normalizing his presence as a gay man in a Hollywood filled with conventions and stereotypes. His openness and confidence have made him a trailblazer for others in the industry. He clashed with stereotypes but managed to unite them with dignity. Born in Wales, Evans began his career on the London musical stage before conquering Hollywood with his commanding presence. His standout voice and classical beauty quickly made him one of the most sought-after stars in action and fantasy films. Movies like Dracula Untold, Beauty and the Beast, Fast and Furious, and The Hobbit shaped his image as a masculine, strong, and entirely heterosexual man in the public eye. Yet behind that archetype was a truth Luke never denied. He openly embraced his identity, refusing to let industry expectations define him. He is gay. Luke Evans admitted his sexual orientation early in his career, performing on stage in musicals like Rent and Miss Saigon. At that time, he lived his truth freely and naturally. However, as he transitioned to film, the pressure began to increase. Producers and agents suggested he be more discreet, advising against publicly sharing his personal life in order to maintain his leading man image in commercial films. For a time, he chose silence, not out of shame, but as a form of self-protection in the harsh realities of the industry. Despite this, his authenticity eventually prevailed, showing that living true to oneself is far more powerful than conforming to stereotypes. But that silence was never a denial. Luke didn't lie, fabricate relationships with women, or pretend. He simply kept his privacy without hiding his true self. In some interviews, he openly shared that he didn't see his sexual orientation as something that defined him. He didn't want to be labeled as a gay actor. He was just an actor. His example shows that you can live your truth without sacrificing the spotlight, and that identity doesn't need to be explained, just lived. Luke Evans' journey proves that authenticity in both life and career can coexist seamlessly, without compromise. Colman Domingo, a quiet strength, breaking the silence with pride. Colman is living proof that authenticity and talent can coexist, even in an industry that has long tried to separate the two. Born in Philadelphia to a modest African-American family, Colman built his career with dedication, patience, and quiet courage. Today, he is known for his outstanding performances in Fear the Walking Dead, Euphoria, Zola, and Rustin. He has firmly established himself as one of the most talented and influential actors of his generation, earning widespread acclaim for his artistry and unapologetic authenticity. Colman Domingo has consistently demonstrated unwavering integrity in his identity as a Black gay man. What makes his journey so powerful is how he has never allowed his sexual orientation to become a barrier in his career. In an industry where Black men have historically struggled to land leading roles, coming out as gay adds yet another invisible obstacle. But Colman has never allowed that to diminish his worth. He refuses to let his identity be viewed as a label or something to be stigmatized. He simply lives authentically, embracing who he is and shining brightly in everything he does. Colman's presence is a politically symbolic act, quiet yet powerful. His roles are a declaration of talent, sensitivity, and strength. Unlike others who feel forced to come out due to media pressure, Colman has always controlled his own journey, stepping into the spotlight with pride. He is married to designer Raul Domingo and often mentions his personal life naturally, without fanfare. For Colman, normalizing the LGBTQ+ experience comes from the peace of living authentically, not from constantly needing to justify his existence. His approach is a testament to the power of living one's truth with dignity and grace. Dan Amboyer may not be as widely known to the public as some of the others on this list, but his story is both powerful and symbolic. He is recognized for his role as Prince William in the TV movie William and Catherine, a royal romance, and for appearances in shows like Younger and The Blacklist. Amboyer has often been cast in roles that align with the image of a handsome, well-mannered, reserved, and charming man, the ideal image of masculinity. That's precisely why his decision to publicly come out as a gay man in 2017 was both surprising and significant, marking a pivotal moment in how Hollywood handles the authenticity of its artists and challenging preconceived notions of identity and talent. For many years, Dan chose to keep his sexual orientation private from the media, not out of shame, but out of fear of the consequences that such a simple truth could bring. He understood that stereotypes still existed in the industry, and revealing this part of his life could limit the types of roles he would be offered. The fear of being labeled as a gay actor, rather than simply being seen as an actor, always haunted him. But in October 2017, everything changed when he made an incredibly heartfelt and courageous decision to come out, challenging those fears and embracing his true self. In an emotional post, Amboyer not only came out as gay but also announced his marriage to longtime partner Eric P. Berger. It was a doubly courageous act, living authentically and publicly revealing a relationship he had kept hidden from the media spotlight for years. The response from the public and industry professionals was overwhelmingly positive. Many colleagues in the industry praised his honesty and his decision to live without concealing his true self. This moment became a catalyst for deeper conversations about identity and authenticity within the entertainment industry, inspiring others to embrace their truth as well. Since then, Dan Amboyer has become a role model for young actors still grappling with the dilemma of balancing their careers with living freely. In numerous interviews, he has shared the burden of hiding his true self, the relief of living openly, and his hope for a future where LGBTQ+ actors no longer need to make public declarations or fear judgment. Dan's story serves as a powerful testament that living authentically is not only a personal act but also a meaningful contribution to the community, inspiring others to embrace their truth without fear. Tom Hulce, the genius Mozart shines in silence. Tom Hulce made cinematic history with his outstanding portrayal of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in the Oscar-winning film Amadeus, released in 1984. His performance as the brilliant composer was intense, emotionally rich, and incredibly captivating, earning him an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. This role solidified his place as one of the major talents in 1980s American cinema. However, few know that behind the fame and overwhelming success, there was a part of his life he kept hidden from the public. Tom Hulce is gay, but unlike some of his colleagues who chose to live openly or use their fame as a platform for activism, he opted for silence. Not out of shame, but because he felt that his private life didn't need to be brought into the spotlight as a statement. Hulce kept his personal life private, never responding to questions about his sexuality and never appearing publicly with a partner. However, those within the industry and his close friends knew him to be a genuine and kind person. In his silence, Tom Hulce remains an icon of a top-tier artist living true to himself, letting his work speak for his authenticity. With his partner, Tom Hulce avoided discussing their relationship, becoming the subject of constant media speculation. Over the years, many rumors about his sexuality spread, but he refused to indulge the media's curiosity, maintaining a discreet and private demeanor. It wasn't until 2008, when Tom Hulce was no longer at the center of Hollywood's spotlight, that he publicly confirmed he was gay. He did so calmly and almost casually, as if it were a simple acknowledgement. This delayed statement did not diminish his glamour, but instead highlighted the oppressive environment still present for actors wishing to embrace their homosexuality openly. In the 1980s and 1990s, even for those recognized for their talent and highly praised by critics, many believed that Hulce's silence was a strategy for self-preservation, as film studios were often not favorable toward openly gay actors playing heterosexual roles. The fear of losing opportunities, being labeled, and fading into obscurity was real and entirely justified. After Amadeus, Hulce continued acting, but his focus gradually shifted to work behind the scenes. He became a highly respected theater producer, accumulating Tony Awards for successful plays and investing in stories that highlighted diversity. Hulce worked tirelessly behind the scenes on Broadway, creating space for new voices and stories that had previously been overlooked, cementing his legacy not just as an actor, but as a key player in expanding the range of representation in theater. Wilson Cruz, the first to truly represent himself in primetime. Wilson Cruz is not only a talented actor, but also a true milestone in the history of LGBTQ representation on American television. Born in New York to Puerto Rican immigrant parents, Wilson grew up facing two challenges: being gay and Latino in a society full of prejudice. From a young age, he understood that his very existence was an act of resistance. With this courage, he became the first openly gay actor to portray a gay character on primetime American television when he brought Ricky Vasquez to life in the 1994 series My So-Called Life. This groundbreaking role paved the way for future LGBTQ+ representation in mainstream media, marking a significant moment in both television history and the fight for visibility. At that time, LGBTQ+ representation in mainstream media was nearly non-existent. The portrayal of a young gay character with a different racial background, deeply explored with real conflicts, was unheard of. Wilson didn't just play this role with authenticity, he lived it. His portrayal of Ricky Vasquez resonated with millions of viewers and paved the way for other LGBTQ+ stories to be brought to the screen. However, this exposure came with painful consequences. Wilson was even kicked out of his home by his father when he came out as gay. He faced financial hardship, emotional instability, and the burden of becoming a public figure during a time when homophobia was still rampant, even within the entertainment industry itself. Despite these challenges, Wilson's courage helped open doors for greater LGBTQ+ representation, making his journey not just a personal victory, but a significant cultural breakthrough. Despite the hardships he faced, Wilson never stayed silent. Instead, he used his presence to actively fight for inclusion, dignity, and equality. Over time, he has established himself as a powerful voice for the LGBTQ+ community, both on and off the screen. Wilson starred in notable works such as Party of Five, Star Trek, Discovery, and 13 Reasons Why, but he always emphasized connecting his artistic career with social activism. He became an influential figure in the fight against HIV, advocating for LGBTQ+ youth in vulnerable circumstances, and actively participating in initiatives to combat racism. Wilson Cruz is a testament to the fact that courage and art can coexist within the very structure of the entertainment industry, proving that using one's platform for social change is not only possible but essential. Rupert Everett paid the price for authenticity in Hollywood. Born in the United Kingdom, Everett gained worldwide fame with his unique charm and refined talent, standing out in films like Another Country, where he portrayed a young gay man in the oppressive environment of British society, and My Best Friend's Wedding, where he shone alongside Julia Roberts, becoming a symbol of the LGBTQ+ community in 1990s cinema. What many people don't know is that Rupert Everett was one of the first major actors to publicly come out as gay in the 1980s. This brave decision, made at a time when Hollywood was still dominated by traditional norms, came with significant challenges. Yet Everett remained unapologetically authentic, setting a precedent for LGBTQ+ visibility in the entertainment industry. At a time when coming out was almost synonymous with the end of a promising career in Hollywood, Everett took a bold step. Unlike many of his colleagues who chose to maintain the image they had built, Everett revealed in several interviews that after publicly coming out as gay, offers for lead roles virtually vanished. Directors and producers began to view him as a difficult casting choice. Despite his considerable talent, the romantic, handsome roles he naturally and powerfully portrayed began to disappear. The actor even mentioned that if he had kept his sexual orientation a secret, he could have become a star on par with Hugh Grant. This decision, though it cost him in terms of Hollywood opportunities, cemented his role as a trailblazer for LGBTQ+ visibility in the industry. With each story of these LGBTQ+ actors, we gain a clearer understanding of the power of honesty and courage, not only in art but also in life. They have changed perceptions, broken down prejudices, and opened new opportunities for future generations. Their brave actions have made significant progress in the fight for equality and acceptance in society. Don't forget to hit like and share this post to help amplify the power of positive change. Together, we can build a world where everyone, no matter who they are, is respected and loved. Your action today could be the first step toward changing the future.